do Enbridge and do land. This guy's putting in this double wide, he got a special use permit. If you want to do it right now, you can say this is $1,000.
Oh, it was Mr.
Cost him $5,000 or $6,000, $10,000 to put that sewage in here. But if you go, yes, but if you go ahead and cut that sewage line out, dump it into this manhole that we're fixing to put in, you can say it'll cost him there what you charge him. It's gonna be $3,800 just for the,
These new folks now don't get the $200, do they?
no, this is something that you're gonna have to figure out on the new system, on where you putting it in. The only thing I'm talking about is what you can service and how you can service it. But you know the guy that's putting the double wide in on Enbridge now. If you go ahead and do Enbridge, you can save him.
Oh, yeah, because they won't have to do double.
He won't have to pump.
I don't know.
You can grab the feed down to the sewage line.
What's
off
it
our
by
sewage, and you won't have to do any pumping on it. Now he's gonna have to pump it from station to station and then go and drain it.
I just want to aspire.
But you can save him some.
Oh, all right, well, I'll look it up. I'll look.
I can tell you right now.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, McGowan.
that's the funniest thing I've
Do
ever
that.
heard.
Look that way.
He told me not to look at him, he says, because I'm here to tell you right now, it's not easy being a sex symbol. Funniest thing I've heard.
Y'all got it going on down there. They won't pay us in 2 weeks. It's gonna be up to us. We go ahead, that's what we're gonna do tonight. I'll go ahead and talk about it. If you want to do it, we'll go ahead and do it. And get it put in before they put it. Even if we have to pay for it, $17,000. Not for me. Yeah, but you have a man.
We call the town council meeting, Whitfield Mills, November 18th meeting to order. If you bow your heads, we'll have the invocation. Dear Heavenly Father, as we gather to conduct the town business, give us wisdom and guidance to do the things that best suit all of our citizens. We thank you for all blessings, and in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. We'll stand, we'll do the pledge of allegiance to the flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I hear a motion for the approval of the agenda?
Mayor, I have 2 items that need to be added under Mr. Easton's sewer report. D2, review of a quote for an extension on Durant Road.
Okay,
And under my report, item H4, deed of easement for Duke Progress. That was tabled from last month.
gotcha. Anything else?
That's all.
Anyone else have any additions or changes to the agenda? If not, do I hear a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion is made by Councilman McGowan, second by Councilman Wright. All in favor? Approval of the minutes for the October 21st meeting.
Make a motion, we approve.
Motion has been made by Councilman McGowan to approve the minutes as written. Second by Councilman Wright. All in favor? Ayes have it. We move forward. Thank you. At this time, at 6:33, we'll open the first open forum. Anyone who has signed in and wishes to speak, you have 3 minutes.
Burnett Easton, 202 Country Valley Place. I would like to say that for 2 years, I know it has been, we've been working on Country Valley Place. And I would like to know what the status of it is. I know that if you got anything at home to do, it don't take you 2 years to do it. And I think we have had to run around on Country Valley Place. Several years ago, I think in 2008, 10, somewhere in there, it was voted on in this, by this council or another council to drag the path 2 times a year and keep gravel on it. And it was done 1 year, but I keep asking, other people ask, and nothing ever gets done. You talk about it here, and that's it. You're gonna do this, go talk to this person, that person. The next meeting you come, nothing's done. The next meeting, nothing. Then somebody's got to come back up here and bring it up again. I mean, if we do everything in this town as draggy as we do this, we're in a heap of trouble. We're gonna go downhill fast in this town. Thank you very much.
Anyone else wishing to speak?
Clifton Cooley, 126 Bambi Drive. I've been trying to rent a piece of property to a young lady. She wanted to put a daycare. I don't know if she's following the right procedures or what, but every time when I talk with her, she says she's been down here, nobody can give her the right direction. She said that she can't come and speak because she's not on the docket. I told her this is an open forum. Then today she was telling me that they said she didn't need to speak because nobody don't know what's going on. Well, the last time I was here, I had Councilman Easton to go in with me, and I talked with one of the young ladies about that. Because I don't know the protocol as far as getting a daycare over there on, as you call it, North Wilson Mills, or either a group home. I don't know the procedures, but I know it's supposed to be state and county inspection or what. I don't know whether that's involved. But this procedure been going on since May, and I'm losing money because I can't get no rent because of that. And I need somebody to tell me something, and I feel like if nobody around the council board knows anything, we have a town attorney, maybe he can direct it in the right direction. And I would like to get some information. I don't want my property to keep sitting there idle for the rest of this year with a sign in the yard saying daycare opening soon, and it's been up there 3 months and I hadn't seen any progress made.
You want me to pick it up?
Please.
Okay, so the person that you're talking about is in the middle of a conversation with the planning department because they opened it against the code. So what she opened was not allowed under our code, and they have been working with her. She did come by today asking about the time of the meeting, and I let her know that the meeting was open and that there was an open forum. And she told me that she wanted to talk to the council about the fact that she's changed her plans and what she wants to do with the house as far as either a daycare or a rehabilitation home or something. I think she had talked about maybe doing a group home. And I told her that if that was allowed where she was and it needed to go before a board, that it would probably have to go before the planning board first. So she's going to contact the planning department tomorrow. That was what I spoke to her about today.
So we've answered all the questions that she has
We have.
brought to us. Okay.
My name is Esther Frazier. I'm 105 Country Valley Place. And my concern is basically that Ms. Eason, because and a little bit more too, because there used to be a little stream that ran down the back of my house. And right there at the road now, it's backing up because it's like a little river now, but it's not going any place but right there. A lot of debris, trees, crushing run, and all that stuff was thrown there. And I don't know why it was thrown there in the path of this little stream, because now the water, to me, I don't know what's going to happen, but it looks like it's going to back up into my driveway. And so I'm afraid that I might not be able to get out of my house soon, because nothing, I mean, I don't know why they would throw all that debris there, but it was thrown there. So I would like it moved.
I think the Crushy Run washed in when the road overflowed, when the creek went over the road.
Yep.
I think that's where it is.
While we are talking on Country Valley, I'd like to say one more thing. Week before last, I came down here and talked to the police chief and one of the police officers. there is someone on, they paved Fraser Drive, and the people that paved it put some real nice crushing run at the end of the road. There is this young guy that is riding a four-wheeler, and if you look at the end of Fraser Drive, he just spins right round and round and round. And the police officer said he had seen a trailer there with the guy unloading it. But he started coming down the path, and then he quit that, but he just makes little circles, donut holes right out at the end of the path. I mean, it's in bad enough shape as it is, but I don't know if the police officer had called him or talked to him or anything, but that's uncalled for too.
JC, you want to address Country Valley, please?
Well, again, the engineer is supposed to be getting with the attorney. Has that happened yet?
The last, what we've heard is that he has not been able to get to to this project, to doing it yet, and he has it on his list, and he's trying to get back to us hopefully soon, but I don't, no. He has not been able to get to the project yet, the engineer.
Randy, have you talked with Cleo whether he's going to sign the thing once we get it done?
Not unless he agrees to what's in writing. He wants to see, he wants a contract in hand to read it before he makes any kind of decision on if he's gonna sign it or not.
Does anyone else wish to speak to the open forum?
You know, we need to, Mr. Anderson and Leanna, we say this every month. We need to get an engineer there as quick as we can. I mean, I
If
can't
he's
blame.
too busy, can we get somebody?
I can't
can he
blame
refer
Miss
to
Eason
somebody?
because she's absolutely right. It's been going on.
At least
I've been
12
here-
years.
Well, I've been here 4 years and it's been going on 4 years, so.
I'd like to, I've only been here 2 years, but I'd like to throw something out, I guess, in our defense. And that is, if it were up to, in my opinion, if it were up to this council, it would have been solved 12 years ago. But we're dealing with outside citizens who have their own way of doing things and their own thoughts with respect to private property, et cetera, et cetera. So trying to get everybody together is not that easy, but it looks like there's light at the end of the tunnel now. That's what I'm referring to. Looks like we've got an answer. It looks like we're gonna have something at some point in time if he agrees to sign this document, which he said he would. He just wants to see it in writing. But it's been all of these different people that own properties, have deeds been filed, all of this stuff that had to come together to make it legal and to set it in concrete, so it'll stay forever. So we're trying.
It wouldn't be feasible to get another engineer at this point with all the time that Brian Leonard's got involved in getting to where he is. So that would just set us back further, in my opinion.
I think it would probably set us back further because somebody else will have to do all that research work, but also more expensive just because he's already got all of the drawings already.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out the repair side of it. But, I mean, I will suggest that about a year ago, whenever you all started talking about going back and dragging it again, is when the question first came up about, do we want to pave it? And then we went that route back and forth about whether we could or not, whether we could continue the road on. And then we decided not to continue Country Valley Place on through to Parker Street, but just to pave it. And then we couldn't pave it because we couldn't get the right of way from the property owner. So the decision was to repair it. But at this point, if it's still going to be another month or so before we can even get the information back, and then it's going to take a long time to bid out the work and get the work done, especially with the weather, the way it's getting ready to be over the winter, is why I would suggest that we just spend the money to drag it again. I don't know that that's going to help Ms. Frazier's problem with the drainage, because I don't know where that debris came from. Because we haven't had a contractor out there trimming trees on that road, so I'm not sure who's dumping that debris, but it's not the town. But, if we needed to get a contractor out there to at least clean out the debris and drag the road and get them through the winter.
Yeah.
Because when that was first talked about a year ago, I think it was the fact that we were already looking into these other plans and we didn't want to spend that $2,500, $4,000, however much it costs to get somebody out there to drag it and add any kind of pressure run.
Yeah, we're gonna, I'm the same thing as you are, Leanne. I think we get somebody out there to trim the trees if we have to trim them.
They don't need trimming.
They just need to
We,
get them out of the path of the water.
Remove some of the debris
Something
and
Make sure it can
drag the
drain like
road
it's
so that
supposed
it,
to.
yeah.
And,
Now, the first heavy rainfall we have
and
is
then,
gonna, it's gonna be a
and
problem
then,
again.
then drag it and put some crush and run on it. Now, when we get into my session, I'll make a motion that we do that.
Well, you could probably get a motor grader out there and shape it up. We had it shaped one time and it was draining good. Everything, the water was not running across the road. And as Ms. Easton said, we were supposed to follow up about every 6 months and have it drug and reshaped. And that wasn't done. And, we talk about a right of way. It doesn't matter if we've got 100-foot right of way. That's not going to solve the problem. The problem is getting the water from the upstream side down to the downstream side. And, I know Miss, Worley said that we couldn't pave it, but we can pave it. We passed the ordinance to not pave anything under 50 feet. We can do a variance on it and pave it if we have to and want to.
And use power bill money. Anything 16 foot and better can be paid.
You're exactly right. We got 25 foot and Powell will recognize it as a legitimate street.
But you won't do anything till you put bigger covers in. That's
right.
what's got
That's
to,
the
that's what's got to be
problem.
done. You got to put
It
bigger
don't matter
covers
how
in.
big
to
your
get-
right of way is, you got to get the water to the downstream side.
That's right.
And line the culverts up with the stream.
Yeah.
And line the culverts up with the stream, because they're out of line. Out of alignment. Okay, anyone else for open forum at this time? If not, we will close that at 6:45. Planning Department, you have the report right in front of you. It looks like everything has been approved or the application has been submitted. Anyone have any questions? Valerie Nor,
The only thing that I saw on here was the planning board is gonna meet the 25th to look at the draft on the UDO and the CUP,
correct.
the CLUP, and the
Town council
council is asked to
recommended
be
to be
there.
here.
Okay.
When's that?
The
What time
25th,
is that meeting gonna be?
7:00.
7:00.
All right, Mr. J.C., we'll go to the street department.
Well, what we just talked about is, we can come in there and do a temporary, of grading and putting a little crush and run in there before. We can do that if you want to. That's up to anybody else. It's been so long, we need to do something. So I wouldn't be against doing a grading and some crush and run on it, because it has been a long time since it's been done. And I kept telling them we couldn't do anything. We got everything done, but if we can do it, then we need to do it, because it has been a long time. So I would make a motion that we,
I'm like Philip, I'd have to agree that the motor grader would do far more good right this minute than adding in additional gravel. There's plenty of gravel there, it's just in the wrong place.
well, I mean, let's get a quote from somebody about the motor grader. If they don't think we need any crush and run, then we won't put crush and run on it. I mean, we get a quote from somebody that would do the grading and maybe the removing of the debris that's clogging it up, and just go from there. If it needs more crush and run until they get this project done with the culverts, we could put some in there. But right now, let's just get it graded and get the debris.
I will
Remove.
get some quotes, and as long as they're under 5,000, do you want me to just go ahead and move forward?
That would be my
They should be a
suggestion.
lot under that. There's two graders in town. Brad Gordon's got one, and probably Selco guy down here. He's got one, and so has,
He's done it before. He knows.
Adam
He
Whitmire,
knows about
he's
what
got
it
one.
looks like, what it should look like.
Do
I don't know if Ben Youngblood's got one or not.
a motion
No,
on
Ben
that,
don't
or
have
do we?
I don't think.
Is it, is
He had
everybody,
one, he must
is
have sold
everybody
it.
agreeable
He
with
had one, he
that?
must have sold it.
Is everybody agreeable with that?
If they come back over 5,000, though, I'll have to bring it to you in December, but
Yeah.
it
You
should.
should make a
I
motion.
don't think. it-
No, she said we didn't need a motion, Philip.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
No, that's it.
Councilman Wright, events.
The Silver Star has been conducting their meeting and doing, I guess you call it ornaments and whatever, doing their little crafts and so forth and having their lunches and, I'm not gonna say where it started to, but I'll let that slide. And, the events board is planning the, Christmas party. The, parade is being worked on by the, Advent Church over there, and, when is the Christmas parade anyway?
December
December
7th.
7th.
December the seventh.
Mhm.
4
o'clock.
It probably start out down there like they did last year before. But, my big thing is the park. They have, as I've told you before, they've encroached on the part the construction company has. They've got some banks, who did the surveying, Leon?
He's in the process of doing it, Jimmy Barber, and that's for the
Well, you got a
annexation.
stake in, got a stake in it there at 10 acres.
He's not finished
First
yet.
10 acres we bought. Crawford, who'd you say?
Jimmy Barber.
Barber. He put stakes in, surveyed, or had the corners and so forth. And where the original 10 acres is at, they've got that close to cutting to it, and they've got a bank cut down probably 2 to 3 foot right there, straight down. And then it tapers back towards the road. I don't know, we need to get some kind of understanding with them as to what needs to be done, or find out what they plan to do. I don't know if they need a retaining wall built against those banks, or keep them from washing and corroding down, or if they need to be sloped. To, keep that far end down there, they probably say 8 foot tall, that bank is. Of course, it's a little far off the property line. Y'all got any suggestions?
Well, I have on the way to get it done, but
Oh, we can get it done.
on what to do is,
That's where
they
I
should
don't know
have
what to
put,
do.
didn't we ask them to put a berm up?
I don't know.
I know at Parish Ridge, they're gonna put a berm up on other line.
Well, they're right. Well, they've been encroaching places, on those places, they're right on top of it, all the way down, they're right close to the line where they've cut and all. And like I said, far in down there, they probably say 8 foot cut down there,
What,
and it's gonna wash eventually.
what's the guy's name? Brian what?
Spencer.
Spencer. Have you talked to him?
Not in the last weeks too.
When you call him and tell him, look, we got a problem
I done talked to him
and you
twice.
need to solve it. If you don't,
Yeah,
then the town council will have to bring some type of,
We can stop construction.
right, you can stop his construction.
they are pushing the road in around there now.
Yeah.
On that side.
Just tell him
And,
to,
They
the
told me the
council,
last time I talked with them that they weren't gonna do anything for a while. And I told them we wouldn't be doing anything for a while, but, you know,
yeah, but it doesn't make any difference when you do it, they're
Yeah,
encroaching.
he was going to have it resurveyed, he said, but he ain't done it.
Well, if you tell him that you're gonna cease his operation over there, I'll guarantee you he'll get it done, because that's the way we got the manhole fixed. I called him and told him. Didn't matter with me.
Most time he comes around on Tuesdays, he says, but, you know, I don't know. Nobody got any suggestion what we need to do? Have them put up a retaining wall or slope the banks or?
They're gonna put up a berm with it should have been on their stuff that they put a berm up, because we had to put one up at Crabtree's. We had to put a berm up at Crabtree's with bushes on it. They should do the same thing down there. Plus, Parish Ridge had to put one up over on Clifford Uzzle's along his line down there. They had to put a berm up there.
What's the berm gonna do?
Well,
Is
it's
it
gonna,
gonna keep that bank from working there?
I doubt it real seriously,
Me too.
because you know, on the front, they put mulch on the front one.
Mhm.
And that's how they hit a manhole, putting that mulch in, but they fixed that. I can say that.
The survey that we're having done for the annexation and the recombination of those two parcels for the park will show us how much, if any, that they're encroaching. Because he's not done with the stakes on that side with the survey yet. He's not finished with it. So when we get that back, our plan would be to send that to the attorney if there's an issue and find out after we look at his plans if there's, if he's been told on his plans that he's gotta do something like that, we wanna make sure he's doing it in the right place to begin with, and if he's encroaching, see what we need to do back.
And
to the
there should be
law.
some kind of an erosion control situation.
There would be.
Especially if he's encroached on their land, they should come up with some kind of an erosion control situation where they're gonna, once they find out that they've encroached on their land, they're gonna have to come up with a plan that satisfies us.
Well, I'm pretty sure that the planning board put a berm or some type of bumper up between that park and that subdivision.
There
There
should
would
be
be
a
some
contract
kind of
somewhere in this
buffer.
building that's
Well,
said,
they're on their plans, there would be some kind of buffer requirement that the planning board approved. So
Yes.
once we get the information back from the survey and we see what's on their plans, then we can have the attorney talk with whoever out there needs to be talked, because they've been going back and forth with them for a while now, but without a survey, really can't prove anything anyway. And they're obviously not getting anything done on it, and we're already getting one done for the recombination and the annexation, so ours will show how much their encroachment is.
But even if they have a plan, if it doesn't cover the problem of erosion control, they're gonna have to come up with another plan because they encroached on their land. So as a lawyer's gonna have to tell them, hey, you're gonna have to do this, this, or this because you've encroached on our land, and you've got to make sure the erosion is not gonna affect their land. And they might have to do something different than what the planning board originally told them because they've encroached on their land.
Right.
well, let's ask our attorney here what we should do.
I mean, I think what he just said, we have to go through and get the survey, right? And then from there, we can make sure
As
we,
soon as the survey's
warn them.
done, we can go from there.
Well, we talked about it about 3 meetings now. Let's see if we can't get something concretely in place. Because I know it's been 2 months since Philip carried me out there and I looked at the line and they're definitely encroached. But you're right. We get a survey and we got it certified, then we'll be good to go with some legal action. If they're not willing to do so, then we'll pursue that. Does that make sense?
There we are.
Okay, thank you, sir. Councilman Eason, sewer.
Mine's always money. We have a engineering bid. When I did the extensions on Powhatan North and Powhatan South, did the extension on Poplar Creek. And when we rerouted Swift Creek, we had our, what it cost us to put the sewage lines in, but we did not get the engineering fee. It wasn't abruptly put on it at the time. So I've got I need a resolution or an amendment to ratify this sewage amendment that we've got here on the engineering. And I believe it's about $25,000, ain't it?
No, it wound up being a decrease.
A decrease.
Mhm. So on your, request for action, it's explained on there it wound up being a net decrease with the Wooden Company, which is why I went ahead and initialed off on it and sent it in, because we had to close it off. So since it was a decrease,
Yeah, we
so
had,
you're just ratifying this amendment that you did last month. If it had been an increase, it would have had to come back to you for approval. So it wound up being a decrease of, I think it was about $5,600.
67, I think it's 6750
Yeah,
maybe.
but this is an increase. not a
Yeah, lump
decrease.
sum, the increase is 6750
Where are you seeing that?
on the first page.
No, this is the original, that was the first page of
Yeah, I
the
know.
Oh,
amendment that you did last month.
Okay.
If you turn to the second page where it's got the red marks through it,
The original
Showing what
agreement
was
was
changed.
25,000.
the adjusted agreement amount that you approved last month was $531,447.
Oh, okay, you're
And it's
going
now
on total amount.
$527,000.
Yeah, your total amount. So we need a resolution on a decrease of,
So you can just, make a motion to ratify the approval.
yeah, we'll make a
of-
motion that we ratify the engineering bill on the USDA sewage project.
Are you making that motion, sir?
Yes.
Councilman Eason has made a motion and it's been seconded by Councilman Jernigan to ratify the sewer report that has been put in place with the Wooten Corporation. All in favor? Ayes have it. We'll move forward with that.
Now, we have another one where I want to extend the line out of Parish Bridge up to Durant Street. It's gonna be a manhole, a consistency of a manhole and about 150, 160 foot of 8-inch line. We want to do this before they pave that back street coming out of Parish Ridge. If we can do that, it'll probably save us $15,000, because if you have to go back and put it in after they paved that street, it's gonna cost about $15,000 to repave it. I'd rather put it in now. It's gonna be $17,525.29. I'd rather put it in now and get it up to the street. We do not have to do Endridge or, Durant, but on your next sewage project, you can include Durant and Endridge when you do the pumping station. It's gonna cost you probably $100,000, $120,000 to do Durant and Endridge. The sewage station went to $950,000, but it'll be right at $1 million to put it in now. Everybody's busy, and when they're busy, you pay the piper. But I want to make a motion that we go ahead and do this extension out of Parish Ridge up to Durant Street. And you'll be set for the future on those two streets later on. It'll be vital to the town to go ahead and do it now.
I think it'd be good. I think if we go ahead and do it now, it'll be cheaper, plus, it'll already be there when we get ready to do those.
When you get ready to do them, it'll be there. All you gotta
They're
do
gonna
is.
be done anyway.
Mhm.
Did you make a motion?
He made a motion.
Yes, I made a motion.
I'll second.
Motion's been made to extend the sewer line from Parish Ridge over to Durant Street at the cost of $17,500 by Councilman Eason, seconded by Councilman Wright. All in favor? The ayes have it.
Now,
I want to make a complaint about this bid this guy had. We're old folks here and this writing is entirely too small.
And I even blew that up.
Well, you don't accept another bid like that that we can't read. That's pitiful. That's just,
this is the
when I was
developer.
20 years old, I couldn't read this.
This is the developer that's developing that portion. And the reason that we want him to do it is he can put everything on his development package for that. If we go out and do it ourselves, We've got to get permits from the
Permits.
state,
And engineer,
permits from the county, and engineer it.
and this we don't have to.
No. Well, it's already been engineered. Dalton Engineer did it, and they're not gonna charge us anything for doing it. Out of Clayton.
Gotcha.
Before we move on, Mayor, if I
Let's
could,
hit
while-
them out.
while we're still on the sewer.
Yeah.
I'd like to throw something out here for everyone's consideration, up until the December meeting, where a decision can be made by the mayor and all of us, I guess, and not even in the form of a resolution. However, this is Mr. Easton's last full meeting until December. Following that, there'll be, obviously, someone's gonna have to take over the sewer side.
Good job for you.
Thank you, but I decline, I'm fine. So what I would like to propose and throw on the table is something that I don't know that we've ever done in this town, but I would like to see and have Mr. Easton at least think about it for the next month. Retaining Mr. Easton's services as some sort of a special assistant to the council regarding the sewer. Now, I'm doing that for the simple reason that I like Johnny. All right, no, let me. I'm gonna miss it. No, seriously, I'm doing it for obvious reasons, and that is whoever takes over the sewer project, it's going to be a very, very steep learning curve. And we could easily get into the situation where something gets overlooked and we wind up spending a lot more money than we need to. Johnny knows all about the USDA and everything with respect to sewer. And I can probably say that we wouldn't be in the sewer situation, which is good right now, had it not been for Mr. Easton's expertise. So I'd like to throw it out that we all think about it and that Johnny think about it, and then we can discuss it again in the December meeting. But retaining his services, if, there's a fee, I don't know, or just whatever, just so that Johnny is involved with the sewer. All right? Fair enough. Now we can move on, Johnny. Thank you for your comments. Okay.
Thank you.
Don't tear up.
Thad,
I'm not tearing up.
Thad, could we get together and draw a contract?
Mayor, it's time
About
to,
like the.
time to move on, Mayor.
About, just about like the
Time to move on. Okay.
attorney has.
All right. I hope you all seriously consider that, though. All right.
Police report.
All right, Chief Williams is not in attendance tonight. He's coming back from a trip, so you all have the packet. If there's any questions, perhaps Leanna can answer. If not, keep them for later. Thank you.
I will touch up on that right quick. It's the season of giving and stealing. There's been a lot of armed robberies in the county in the last week or so. Holiday season, lock your doors, lock your windows, make sure you secure your property. Because if it ain't, somebody else is gonna take it from you. If you see something suspicious, even if you're in Walmart, you see something that don't look right, sit down and look at it, because there was a guy shot the other day for no reason. He was working at a store. They go in and get quick, easy money. So just be aware of your surroundings. And remember these guys when they're out there, because they put their lives in jeopardy and they put their lives on the line for it every day.
Maintenance report.
Mr. Cherry is here tonight. He is our new, he's been here for about a month now. He's our new maintenance man and helps out with animal control and whatever else we need him to do around here. He's a good asset to our department, and whenever he stepped foot on the grounds, he was running. He's got a lot of projects he's been working on. He's got a lot of things he's been doing. One of the things is landscaping at the park, trying to get the park, keep it looking clean, picking up trash and stuff. And I think he's doing a good job, and I appreciate it.
I want to commend you also. I know you come, I know you from previously where you worked at Clayton and everything. I know what kind of work you are.
Glad to have you on board, Vinny. All right, you got your financial report in your folder. Does anyone have any questions? Sherry's here to give you some answers. Other than that, we're gonna let it speak for itself.
Well, you got your budget versus the actual stuff. the last page. I discussed it with Ms. Hudson this last week, in fact. And on your sewer charges, where you charge people $20 a month, it's gonna show it, you see it up here, I think it's $6,780 in it. Well, actually, you're gonna have a bill or a check coming from the county. They're gonna pay us every quarter or every half a year, every whatever. Anyhow, you're gonna see that on your sewage report. 90% of that will have to go towards paying your sewage bill. It don't matter if our payment's $100,000, if you get 200 in, you're gonna pay 90% of that money. The other 10% plus your actual sewage charges. If you have a short extension, if you have enough money to have a short extension around somewhere you want to put around the town, use that money. I've asked her to do it so that the council would be aware of what kind of money that you have in the sewage funds that is accessible to be paid to where you can do some improvements around. And I think you'll pay out of the contract within 10 to 15 years. It won't be a 40-year thing.
That'd be a good thing.
I think you would.
To back up, because I forgot it and I thought it was gonna be brought up by you. I had asked at last meeting for you to identify the next series of projects that would be taking place with the sewer, which one made the most sense and in which order?
Well, the first one that I would do and that would really make the most sense would be do Durant Street, because they are low, Durant and Endridge, the one where we want to do the extension here. And then the next thing is the pumping station that you're gonna put over on Sharon Drive over here, up on Jones Road. You gotta put a pumping station, but that's gonna be an expensive project, and you won't get enough customers to pay the bill, but you're just gonna have to incorporate it somehow into it. That might be where some of the 10% of your money is gonna go, is that pumping station. But I would get Endridge and Durant first.
Okay. Ms. Leanna?
I gave you all a report before the meeting. It'll be in your packet from now on if you have any questions about that. And the first item on the agenda was to award bids for the community park shelter construction. We only received one bid for that, so we would prefer to send that back out, especially because of the cost, and put a new due date on it before the December meeting to see if we can get any other bids for that work. So we'll move that to the December meeting. The second item on there, excuse me, discussion of charter amendment. At the April 2018 meeting, you all had a conversation about something that we had talked about with the facilitator at the retreat, redoing your charter so that your council terms are even and it's 3 and 3 instead of 2 and 2. And at the April 2018 meeting, you actually voted to call public hearing for the May meeting to do a resolution to amend that charter. And that was something that Mr. Anderson was going to get ready for you. And then it wasn't done at the May meeting. I wasn't at the April or the May meeting, so I wasn't sure if you all changed your mind or if it slipped through the cracks somehow. If that's something that you do want to do, then we should probably go ahead and get that scheduled for December. But if there's a reason that you decided that that's not what you want to do, then.
I thought we agreed to keep it like it is.
I did too.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
JC, you recall that also?
Yes, we decided that, you know, it would be better just to keep it like it was.
All right. The third one is to call a public hearing for annexing the community park. As you know, the entire park is 2 parcels and the back half has never been annexed. So it's being surveyed right now. And, what we'd like to do is get it annexed next month at a public hearing. And then we'll also turn in the paperwork to recombine so that the entire park is just 1 parcel. Because right now it's split up into 2. That's how it was purchased from Allen Owens years ago. So you would just need I would just need a motion to call a public hearing for annexing that property. Since it's town owned, we can do that next month at the.
It's the bank 20 acres.
Well,
It's like
I'll
23.
make a motion that we have a public hearing on annexing the community park.
That's it.
We've had a motion on the floor by Councilman Triplett and seconded by Councilman Eason to have at the next meeting, the annexation of the 20 acres on the rear of the park to be included into the town limits. All in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Okay. And the item that was added, the deed of easement for due progress, this is what was before you last month, and it was suggested that Mayor Ellsworth and or I talked with Marty Clayton from Progress Energy about the fact that they're asking for this easement, for free, basically. But we did talk with him, and there's some work that's gonna be done out at the park for Progress later on. It's not Progress Energy, but Progress with the park later on, with lights, ball field lights, and needing a, I'm sorry, my mind's gone blank. Transformer out in the middle of the park. And so we talked with him about how they could work with us and not make that cost so much for us. I mean, obviously, they're not gonna pay for all of it, but then also the work that's gonna have to be done about moving the lines and the pole in front of the property where the new town hall will be located. So he has worked with us on that, and we've come to an agreement on that. So I feel like they're gonna help us out on this other stuff. And so the deed of easement for them to move those lines out of the park is back in front of you. If the mayor has anything he wants to add to that, but I feel like you're approving the deed of easement for no money to them. We still have an agreement with them that they're gonna help us with some of the stuff that we'll have going on in the park.
Did he give you a price on what the price was gonna be besides what he's actually gonna charge us for doing?
No, but I do know that they're gonna provide the conduit for us to run that out to the center of the park, and then we would probably just rent equipment and have Mr. Cherry do that, bury it out there, and then that's gonna be a big cost. But obviously, the lighting out there is not something that they can just give to us, but that part, getting it out to the center of the field would be a big cost if we had to have Progress Energy do that.
Can we talk to the county about taking the lighting down at the ball field out here we put up years ago?
Did the town pay for that?
The town,
Did the
the
school
town
pay
put
for
it
that?
up
No, they didn't.
for the community.
That's right.
I think the school paid for it. I know, it would be nice if we could just move it over, but it's not ours.
I don't think it'll be moved.
Yeah.
Okay, do we need a motion to ratify this easement?
Well, to approve the easement, yes, because it hasn't been approved yet, but, they'd like to get this work done, so.
Marty Clayton had a great conversation with us, and he also sent his engineer by here to talk to Leanna, and we discussed all those things, and it appeared that the transformer will be put in place at virtually no cost to us, other than maybe digging a ditch. And that's fair enough, because the rugby club, if I understand it, is going to provide their own lighting, and they will feed their service from that in-ground transformer. And the wiring, it will be underground.
It's gonna go underground from the highway all the way out.
Breaker panel and all that. Out there, at the transformer.
At the transformer. Yeah.
So that'd be fine.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that we work with Duke Energy on.
Motion's been made by Councilman Easton, second by Councilman Jernigan. All in favor?
Uh,
The ayes have it. Okay, it is,
Can I
I'm not quite done.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
And then Johnny, you got something, I got something.
I just have a couple of other things for your information that's not on the agenda. So, we just had an election and Councilmember-elect Dobbin is here, so welcome. And as you know, when people are elected, they're required by law to get the ethics training within the first year. We've got one on the council that still needs it, so Ms. Dobbin and Mr. Triplett are both gonna need that. This year, it's not included in their annual class that they have, the Essentials of Municipal Government. Now, the ethics training is only through a webinar, and they're showing that webinar live on December 10th from 10 to 12. And I think the ethics webinar would be a good refresher for all of you. Mr. Easton, you can join in or not. If you don't have anything to do for a couple hours, you want to come up here. But it's gonna be the same cost, whether we just have the three of them watching it or all of you. So I would invite all of you to be here to watch it if you can. It's only 2 hours. And the three of you that actually need the certification for this ethics, which is again required by law, this portion of it. So it would be during the day, December 10th, 10 to 12. If that is not okay, if that's not an okay date with you all, they have the webinar available later that's not live, but it's not gonna be until probably May of 2020.
Need to get, is that Randy and JC and Carol?
Right.
Okay.
Right. So.
10 to 12 is fine for me.
If we could go ahead and do that, like I said, it's $150, but it's gonna be the same price whether one or all of you watch it, so. I mean, we can actually hook that up here on the laptop and show it on the wall through the projector, so.
I would suggest that all of us try and be here.
I'm planning right now to have the department heads in here to do that as well. I think it's a good idea for the department heads to understand the ethics portion of the council's role too, so they'll be here. We also have some new information about the essentials classes. They are no longer the 2 and 3 day classes that they used to be. They're only a 1 day class, and I'm gonna be talking with Ms. Dobbin about that. She's got some information in her packet about it. So if that's something that any of you would be interested in going to again, they're doing it in several different locations throughout the state now, as opposed to just in Raleigh or Greenville. And, again, it's just 1 day and it's $100, so it's a good refresher course. Excuse me. And we have an invitation from the town of Micro for all of the council members to attend their grand opening ribbon cutting at their new utility business center, which is the new building that they built on Highway 301. So I'll email this all out to you all. It's December 5th at 1 o'clock. And that's all I have. I think all of you received your invitations to the town Christmas party. If you can, just, if you haven't already, give us a call me or Emily, please, and let us know how many will be attending. That's all I have, man.
Councilman McGowan?
Johnny's not gonna be as long as I am.
How do you know?
I guarantee it. Go ahead.
I went to the 70 Quarter Commission, and
Oh, I
they,
didn't hear that.
the 70 Quarter Commission and I-42, the one that's gonna put the bridges out here, they've been delayed till September 2020. Now, you were talking one time about the flooding. They should do something about the flooding down east. Well, they are. They have got a team in now. It's the Flood Resilient and Mitigation Discussion Team. They have the State Director of Conservation Fund and GIS and EPS Associates. But they have started monitoring the streams more and more now, and they're putting the monitors to where they are actually going to help out. One of the guys down out of Craven County wanted them to dredge News River, but they're not going to dredge News River. And they had talked one time about putting monitoring pools up, buying properties next to the river where when the river got up, it would flood into it. They do that in the Netherlands.
Don't we have a couple of them somewhere in the
I
state?
don't think so. But, and then as the water goes down, the water will recede out. But, that's about the bulk of it. Except a bunch of our engineers got promoted, so Ronnie Peters will not be Division 4 anymore. It'll be Kevin Bowen. But he's a good guy to work with, so it won't be any problem. I'm gonna stay with the 70 quarter and 42, even though I'm not on the council, I'm still going to the meeting.
Thank you for that.
And I don't think it'd be a legal council meeting if I didn't take up more time than I was observing, so. Johnny, I want to give you this just, for old time's sake. I have a few items I'll run through it briefly. Did we get an update on the new town hall property acquisition yet?
The update on that is that the purchase and sale, Wellens has a purchase and sale agreement. He's trying to get a survey. And this is kind of what we've seen. This kind of ties in what I was talking about earlier. Everyone who's an engineer is just really busy right now because they're all the building, all the stuff happening. And so there's a delay on that.
Okay.
He's working on it. They're looking at it.
Okay. Next item. When are we possibly going to declare the Green Hornet as surplus and get rid of it out of the parking lot? What's the word on that, Leanne?
I personally think that what you should do is have an auction on all those cars. Once you get them all together, have an auction, just like Steve does, or put them with Steve's cars.
Put them somewhere.
Let Steve auction them off through one of his sales sometime. I don't know when his next one is, but that's what I would say.
Well, the other cars will be coming in shortly, we assume. And then we'll have what, 1, 2, 3 plus the Green Hornet is 4?
4.
4, so
Including that.
let's lump them all together and get rid of them in an auction.
What happened to the oldest one that you had at school?
I don't know.
It died last week and it's still sitting there.
Yeah. Was that why it wasn't moved?
That's what the
Yeah.
chief told me.
But that's what I would do. I would send them to the auction and let Steve auction them off.
Yeah, let's just get what we can.
Make sure you talk to us first, just because there's various rules about disposition of town property. So
Okay.
you got to make sure, auction is one way, but you have to make sure you go through certain, hoops that you don't normally have to.
I'll just bring it up so we can get the ball rolling at least, so we're all thinking about it. Third thing, and this is probably the most important thing I want to talk about tonight. And did you talk to the attorney? My question is this. This past election, I was very, very upset and concerned. Let's use the word concerned with the, and I'm not even going to call it a sign. I'm going to call it a banner because that's what it was, of one of the people running for council. This is my opinion, just a blatant violation and complete disregard for the ordinances as we have them right now, which is 9 square feet on the sign. That sign is 32 square feet. That's even in violation of the county code, which is 28 feet on election signs. And that wasn't one sign, that was a banner. It's a banner, not a sign. It's not one banner, it was 2. They were back to back, so 2 of them violation. I wish Wendy was here to give the other part of it, just that, when that person was notified and the comment that was made about, and this is, since she told me this would obviously be hearsay, but it was, how much time do I have? You got 15 days. Okay, fine. I think someone who was not going to openly disregard the law would probably say, I'll be out there in a heartbeat and take it down. It was nothing like that as far as I understand. And it was just left up there until the 15-day, which was election day. Here's my point. We don't know how many votes that person got because of the sign. That person got a total of 27 votes. So it could have been all 27. It could have been 0. Doesn't really matter. If he got 1 vote because of that sign, that vote should not have been there. That vote should have gone to somebody else. You see what I'm trying to get at here? What I would like to do is just somehow amend our code of ordinances with respect to, what is that? Chapter 30 zoning, Article 3, Division 3, Section 30-254C, political signs, maximum sign square 9 feet. That's fine. What I want to get done is something in the ordinance that says 5 days from the date of the violation. In other words, if Wendy sends out a letter and I know the attorney's gonna have something about this, but she sends out the letter on a Monday. You've got 5 days from then. Allow 2 days for delivery. Give you 3 days to get out there and take it down. Otherwise, people that are running for election, they're losing votes. They could very well be losing votes. Somebody driving by and seeing that sign there goes, I don't know anybody else. I'm gonna go with that guy. It's just wrong, really wrong. So I'd like to see it knocked down to something like 5 days.
15 days now?
I think that'll have to go before our planning board. They'll have to do that.
And the
That's
big,
fine.
big development here that with political signs is that in 2015, the Supreme Court ruled, it's not a famous case, but it's a pretty groundbreaking case. You know, towns and cities have always done signs, regulated signs by political signs, here's the rules, temporary signs, here's the rules, all these different categories, because that makes sense, it's common sense. The Supreme Court kind of took this interpretation of content neutral regulation to say that if you have those divisions between different types of signs, like what the content is, a political sign versus a for sale sign, whatever it is, that is going to be unconstitutional going forward. So what everyone has been scrambling to do is figure out how to redo the sign ordinances, be in compliance with this really complicated case. Now, the reason that everyone hasn't done it immediately, in part, is that there's so much confusion about it that people wanted to kind of see where the other federal courts, how they interpret it, and how other cases that came up after that case. The case is called Reed versus Gilbert, if anyone wants to look it up. But basically, the problem that it presents is that if we do anything, if any town or city does anything with sign ordinances, you need to get it in compliance with this new system, which is basically, instead of saying a political sign, here's the rules, and a temporary sign for a sale, here's the rules. It needs to be, based on categories like signs that are this size, signs that are, there's a lot of debate over what exactly you can do with it. And so we can look at that and we can get back to you on that, and we can definitely make changes about those kind of details. But I think that the basic view is that if you change anything about them at all, we need to go ahead and add these kind of content neutral, regulations so that it's in compliance with this.
But are we not, we're not changing anything with respect to sign content or purpose. We're just doing violation times, 5 days versus 15.
Signs.
Well, no, I understand.
That's penny
No,
ante.
sign.
If you want to really get something
Sign.
enforced, then you turn around and you charge a $10 registration fee or permit fee to run for office. And when you pay that in town hall, you get a list of the rules and regulations. You either comply with those or you
Well,
get fined
let me
immediately.
say this way. I don't think the town, and the attorney, I hope would back me up on this, the town cannot go ahead and do election law that's perhaps opposing the county. That's why when we go to decide to run, we go to the county election office, we pay our $5, and we can't do the same thing here in the town. And the other thing is, and correct me if I'm wrong, whoever ran as late as Johnny, when you went over there and paid your $5 for JC, were you not, or did you not, and Ms. Dobbins as a new one could probably answer it better, were called in to meet Ms. Price, and she was giving them, she would give you a quick rundown on the size of the sign, placement, how long it stays there, when it's got to come up, and also the size. I know this because I called Ms. Price on this, and she had me send her a photograph, and I was happy to do it. I don't like people that just flagrant violation and could care less about the law. And that's what we have here. So we've all signed a document that says we are aware of sign regulations. So we're not trying to change that, but we're just.
No, I understand. I guess I'm just saying, my dad's take on it was that if you change anything with this at all, with the sign ordinance, we need to go ahead and go over to this new system, which is going to be, towns aren't being sued left and right over this because it's kind of an obscure area, and but every municipality in the country basically is having to go over and it's kind of last year or so, last 2 years, been in the process. It came up at some point and they decided not to do anything with it yet, I believe here a couple of years ago, in part because we didn't have good examples. Some of the now the bigger cities like Raleigh or Cary, you know, around here have finally put out policies. And so we're kind of looking at that, and everyone in the municipal law field has been looking at that and seeing what you can do and what not to do and which ones to kind of borrow from. And so I guess that's what I'm saying. His take was just that we need to talk about it. He can talk about it more at the next meeting if y'all wanted to.
Well,
We
that's
can
fine,
bring more
yeah.
information.
We
about
don't
it.
need to reinvent the wheel, but what I'm trying to avoid is somebody putting up a billboard, okay?
We go by county anyhow, that we always follow county rules, I'm
We
pretty
have
sure.
our own sign ordinances.
Right. Yeah, the
But we
county,
adopted the county.
not entirely though. They're 28 square feet and we're 9, so there's a little difference there.
I think 9 square foot is big plenty.
Oh, I do too.
If that, am I understanding you to say that if we redid ours, then we can't differentiate between political and regular signs? So that would mean that if somebody had a different type of sign that wasn't political, then we will also be reducing the days that they would have to remove
Yeah,
it.
and
Is that correct?
It's complicated because this stuff is not, like I said, the main part of the decision was unanimous. I mean, it had a lot of agreement on the Supreme Court, but in terms of on a local level, putting it in practice, it's very confusing, and there's a lot of confusion. I mean, the people in the school of government, there's a lot of confusion. I mean, it's not a very clear decision. And then at the end of it, there's concurrences by a bunch of the judges with different opinions on what they meant by the, you know. So it's kind of still being all figured out, but eventually the sign regulations need to be for this. You can do some of them based on timing if it's for a one-time event. And so you could have the same rules for, say, a political event that you do for something that is a one-time event in town. You know, someone putting up a sign for a sale or an auction or whatever it is. But you have to do it by sizes and by timing and stuff, and not based on what category of sign they are, which is, again, kind of the opposite of the way everyone's done it forever. So we're still trying to get a good handle on what the best way to do that is. We can definitely look at that. And I understand your point about if there's not time within the election period for the 15 days, or, you know, that's an important thing to point out, because it's, the rule doesn't really apply if the timing isn't sufficient. So
Yeah, If
we
I
can,
had been running for election last time, I'd have been really ticked off.
well, what my dad recommended was to basically have, if you guys wanted to talk about it more, he could talk about it more at the next meeting, and we could kind of bring in, it's going to cost, you know, it's going to be some work to get this together, but like I said, fortunately, a lot of the other municipalities have now started rolling out their sign regulations that are based on, you know, a lot of work going into figuring this out. So
Well, we got 2 years before we have another election,
I
so
know,
we got plenty of time
We
to
either do it now or we do it
get
later.
something in
So,
place.
at some point that'll need to be done, but it's
absolutely.
just to be in compliance. But
So you need
Anything
to-
else?
No, sir.
You need to do it on your signs because of subdivisions too, when they're putting up signs about subdivision.
Okay, something that I almost forgot to forget that I think is vitally important to our community in this county. November the 14th and 15th, Johnston County, with the support of Novo Nordisk and 10 or 12 other large businesses in the county, had if you want the simplest way, is say career day at the community college for all the 8th graders in the county. They were all bused to the community college for a 2-day job fair, so to speak. And to give you a consensus of what it amounted to, Novo Nordisk was there, and they were the big sponsor for the entire event, but all these other people paid to be there. And they simply told these 8th graders, if you choose to follow the curriculum that we put in place for you, when you graduate from high school, you got a $17 hour job waiting for you at Novo Nordisk. If you continue your education at the community college for 2 years or 4 years, then there's other incentives to bring you. And I think it's a great start for all the students in the 8th grade to help them start deciding what career they want to choose. I thought it was an excellent thing. I was fortunate enough to be able to attend it on Friday. And I thought it was well received, and certainly there was a lot of students there, and they were paying attention. They weren't just horsing around, they were paying attention. So I thought it was a great thing. Anybody else have anything? If not, at 7:38, we'll go into our second open forum. Anyone wishing to address the group at this time, you have 3 minutes.
Hello, Sean Fritz, 46 Woodland Drive. Just wanted to follow up on an inquiry I had a few months ago about, to you, Randy, stop signs for Ives Landing.
Yes.
Spoke with Mr. McGowan a couple weeks ago, said that there might be some additional hoops to jump through, state or local to get additional stop signs. Is that the case, or is he misinformed?
Were you asking about stop signs? or
Stop signs or
speed
speed limit
Speed limit signs, yes, sorry, speed limit signs.
Thank you.
limits? So, the regulations for speed limit signs are that they can only be put up so far apart.
Mhm.
Are you requesting additional ones than what are on there now, or are you asking for speed limit signs to be put where they're supposed to be? I guess my question is, are
So we have two in the
you
whole
missing signs, or are you asking for extra signs?
extra, additional. So in Ives Landing, we have two. We have one at, was it Springmore, the main entrance? It's the first entrance, as you turn in, there's one right there at that little street berm. And then as you go down, further down on Sutherland, there's a second entrance. The speed limit sign is way down to the, what is that?
You're not asking
West
me, are you?
Chase? Yeah, I'm looking at.
I was probably misinformed.
No, that's, you probably were.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So you asking for
Take your
speed
house.
limit signs to be in Ives Landing or
Yes,
on Sutherland Road?
sorry, yes, in Ives Landing, there's one at the main entrance into the development, and then there's one probably about, it's down on West Chase at,
The first intersection that goes off to the new construction behind my place,
yeah.
whatever the name of that street
Imperial.
is.
It's
It's
at
at the
Imperial.
end of Imperial and where it goes into that other.
Yeah, at Sutherland and Imperial, at West Chase and Imperial. And it's just, it'd be great if we had another one either at the beginning of that second entrance at Sutherland and West Chase. Move that one from back there further up to Sutherland and West Chase. But we'd also want to have an additional speed limit sign somewhere along Woodland, since there isn't one there at all, nor is there one that goes the whole way around the back loop of West Chase.
Okay. Well, now that we have streets worker, Mindy and I will get together on what's out there now
Mhm.
and what's allowed as far as the distance between the two. So if there's anything missing, we'll definitely get them up. If that doesn't satisfy, I'm assuming you're talking on behalf of the HOA out there.
Yes.
Because if we have out there what is required and what our ordinances say need to be on town-owned streets, we would just have to look at what else you would be asking for, because we do it for one subdivision, we're gonna have to do it for all of them, if they feel like but if we see that it's like a long stretch or a curve where there's a different line of sight where people are coming out and they're not seeing it, or, we can look at that, and Mr. Terry can look at that and figure out what's needed out there. But if it's more, then we may just have to come back to the HOA and figure something out.
Would there be an option, if that's the case, to purchase additional signs? Or is that something that kind of take it as we need to?
I don't know the answer to that right now,
Okay.
but I can find out for you.
That's fine. Yeah, we could,
I'm not sure if our ordinances allow homeowners to add more. I mean, everybody might want one, in front of their own house. So we can't do something, but you know what I mean?
Not
So
my
our
neighborhood.
ordinances may regulate how far apart you can put them,
Sure.
but I'll find out for you. I don't know the answer to that, but we'll figure it out.
Is it in our ordinance how many you can have in a subdivision?
Well, it's not about how many are in the subdivision, it's about how far apart they are. And like I said, so there may be an issue where there's a curve, because I know that West Chase curves back around the back. And if there's a line of sight issue where somebody comes out of their driveway and they don't have one before they get to a point where they're speeding more than 25 miles an hour, then it could be that there needs to be one there. So we can look at it.
and the other item was, we had talked about speed bumps, rumble strips, speed humps, whatever is that something that is, I know that end of next year, I think, is when the development will be paved. I heard, someone told me. So is that something that we should look into closer to that time, or is that something that we could explore now versus later?
I think we're gonna,
Maybe in place of the speed limit signs as well, potentially.
instead of, you mean,
Maybe, yeah, in lieu of that. Maybe we can kind of figure out the speed limit sign. That's, I think, the quickest thing, probably the cheapest maybe, but,
if you'll let me look into that too. I mean, honestly, Ives Landing is the first larger subdivision that we've had in this town, and we're actually gonna obviously be getting a lot more. And I know that that is addressed in our new UDO as far as speed bumps on town-owned streets, but I don't know that it is currently.
But I
So
don't think
maybe
we have
something-
anything in our current policies on
Probably
speed
not,
limits.
because we haven't, you know,
How did you come up with your streets being paved next year?
I heard it from an inside
No, you
source.
didn't. Don't look at me.
No, Lucy
Do not look over here.
Lucy Ann had told me. Our board president, she had an inside source. I don't know who it is.
Don't point to me.
No, it's.
I know we're gonna have probably next year, I won't be here, but I can tell you about what's gonna happen.
We're gonna have a bunch to do,
You're gonna have,
and we don't have.
a lot of the sewer roads.
yes, everywhere they put sewage in and they broke the road, they've got a year warranty. After that year, then they'll go in and put it, and it's gonna take a considerable sum of money just to do Poplar Creek. Poplar Creek's gonna be probably close to $150,000. Because you've got one whole side of the street, plus the other side is tore all to pieces. They went in and patched it so it could make do it to
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, Joe Fraser. Say 181 Fraser Drive. Yes, what I was talking about, this has been happening for, ever since Fraser Drive and asphalt. Now, I addressed it several times before, and someone had told me that they want to look into it and change it. And now it's even worse, because someone come off the fire department road running 35, they come down, be about 40 miles an hour before they get to my house there. Because the road is smooth, it's nice, and I like the way they build it, but they got a 25 mile an hour speed sign up there. Then you got a 10 mile, you had a 10 mile an hour on Country Valley. And I said, now, why is that 10, 25, if you're gonna do it, just make it ball 10 miles an hour. Because I'll tell you what happened, and it happened. You look up the street and nothing's there. And you ease it back out of the yard, and all of a sudden you look, here's a car coming down off the fire department road. I mean, it's coming down. So, I mean, is that gonna stay that speed limit? Are they gonna wait for somebody getting run over? I reckon then, because like a whole lot of places I know of, when I worked in Goldberg, I've seen it. They didn't put a stoplight, a great sign up there until a couple of accidents happened. So we need to prevent it before it happens.
If I'm not mistaken, you had a request last year to change the speed limit from 35 to 25, and I thought we honored and did that.
No, you ain't even touched this, the changes of it. Cause I never wanted 25 speed limit on, cause it was already there. Remember I talked to you about it, that it needed to be dropped last year?
We did whatever the request was last year.
No, I didn't request 25, cause it was already 25. Ever since it's been there, it's been 25.
Maybe there wasn't a sign there and we put it up there, but we did something in accordance with your request last year.
I know Country Valley's 10.
Yes, that was 10, that's why I complained, because Fraser Drive was 25.
And they run probably 30, 35 on Country Valley. They run probably 30.
Oh, they do.
I mean,
Yeah, they run that, and it's not. Can you imagine what they do come down Fraser Drive?
if you were gonna put a speed bump on the road, that would be one you would need to put one on.
I can look at what was passed last year and then bring it back to you in December if it's not lower and you want to vote to lower it by ordinance, you can do that. We just can't we just can't put a sign out there to lower it without an ordinance, because if we don't, the police won't have any kind of authority to write a ticket. But we can bring it back in December and look at it if you all want to look at reducing it.
I thought we lowered that and the one on, Family Drive.
I think we did, but I
I'm pretty
just
sure
don't
we
remember
did.
right now what it was lowered
Possibly
to.
did.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll close the second forum at at 7:47.
I make a motion to adjourn.
We got a motion from Councilman Triplett to adjourn. Do I hear a second? Thank everyone for your time. Appreciate you coming. Bring a friend next time. Let's have twice this many here.
Thanks, we can talk about that, it's just a really complicated case, and the, decision that car up there. I'm not saying that necessarily be
We're still live.
one thing. I kind of feel like we're gonna change it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, thanks.
I think we dropped 10 about both signs every time. But we had him like a position.
Whatever that request was, we voted to do it. And whether it was done or not, we can't say it's the same.
I'll probably take it similar. Perhaps like a yard violation or something like that.
Where that's time is
You
not.
have a 10 mile an hour sign out there.